This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
The Kotzker was known to be one of the sharpest all-time minds, and his comments and his sayings and his questions are always so analytical and sharp, and it gets you thinking in a way that almost no other type of comment can get you to think. So I want to share with you the Kotzker Rebbe's really electrifying question on the burning of the Beis Hamikdash. This Kotzker is brought in Shas Teshuvos Beis Yecheskel of Rabbi Yecheskel Mechelson, and in this sefer, in Siman Memhei of Shas Teshuvos Beis Yecheskel, he also brings the Kotzker's answer. And the question is as follows. The Gemara says at the end of Tainis that Rabbi Yochanan says, if I was around when Tisha B'Av was legislated, I would have made Tisha B'Av on the 10th, because the majority of the Beis Hamikdash burnt down on the 10th. The fire was set on the end of the 9th. However, the majority of the temple burnt down on the 10th, and therefore, says Rabbi Yochanan, if I was around when Tisha B'Av was legislated, I would have enacted Tisha B'Av on the 10th. And the Gemara says the opinion of the Rabbanan is no, Aschalta de Parnasa Adifa. The beginning of a tragedy is more severe. So the Kotzker asked the following question. We know in Baba Kama there's machlokes, how do we view a fire? Ishay mishum mamaynai, or Rabbi Yochanan says no, Ishay mishum chitzav. That a fire is considered your arrows. So as in Mukhe Yosef, if a fire is considered your arrow, and every moment the fire is burning, it's like you're acting, then how is a woman allowed to light candles Friday night right before Shabbos? Very nice, she lights the fire before Shabbos, but the fire burns, and that is attributed to the person who lit the fire. So it's like you're doing a maisa on Shabbos if you hold Isha Mishum Chitzav. This is the famous question of the Nemukei Yosef, to which the Nemukei Yosef is mechadesh, that even though it's like you're acting, but all of the acts that we attribute to you are considered to have happened at the time you lit the fire, and they're incorporated and they're subsumed by the original Maisa. In other words, a fire burning is your act, and as it continues to burn, it is continuously your act, but it is considered part of the original act, and it's considered like Erev Shabbos, all of that burning took place. And therefore, since the woman lit the fire on Erev Shabbos, Hakol, Sharar V'Kayam, everything is kosher v'yosher, because the lamdus is, yes, it's your Maisa, but the Maisa is embedded into the original Maisa. Frek the Kotzker, if Isha Mishum Chitzav, and according to the Mukhe Yosef, it means that all the continuous burning is already incorporated into the original act. Well, in that case, we have a kasha, because what's Rabbi Yochanan saying? That if he was around, he would have legislated Tisha B'Av on the 10th, because the majority burnt down on the 10th. Who cares that it burnt down on the 10th? But all of that continuous burning is subsumed and incorporated in the original fire that was set on the 9th, and according to the Nemukei Yosef, it's considered in a way as if it already burned down on the 9th. So what's Rabbi Yochanan saying? That if he would be there, he would have enacted it on the 10th, because the Roiv of the Heichal burned down on the 10th. So what? What about the Chiddush of the Nemukei Yosef, that it's already considered subsumed in the original act? So the Beis Yecheskel says that the Kotzker gave the following answer. This lumdus of the Nemukei Yosef, that Basar Me'ikara Azlina, that we go based on the beginning, that's only from the vantage point of the one who did the Maisa. That the Ish Hamaver, the one who made the fire, it's Ki'ilu, he did everything B'tchila. But regarding the item that burned, it's considered like it's burning when it burns. In other words, there's sort of two dimensions over here. Regarding the one who did the act, everything, all the repercussions are subsumed in his original act, but regarding the item that is burning, it is not considered burnt until it actually happened. Hence, Rabbi Yochanan says if he would have been around, he would have legislated Tisha B'Av on the 10th, because vis-a-vis the temple itself, regarding the Beis Hamikdash, it's considered to have burnt mostly on the 10th. In the Sefer Siach Sarfei Kodesh, he brings the answer that the Sachachavar gave to the Kotzker Rebbe's kasha of, according to the Chiddush of the Nemukei Yosef, why would Rabbi Yochanan say that we should commemorate Tisha B'Av on the 10th? What about Basar Me'ikara? What about the Svara of the Nemukei Yosef? Says the Avne Nezer, says the Sachat Shavar, Haga ba'atzmacha, think about the following scenario. Someone lit a fire in his house and it spread to someone's haystack, and the owner of the haystack could have prevented and saved his haystack, and he decided not to. Is the one who started the fire in his house chayiv? Of course not. It's not his fault. The owner of the haystack should have put it out and extinguished the fire. He had the opportunity to if he doesn't take advantage. It's his fault, not the one who made the fire. In that case, when the person made the fire and then it spread to the haystack, we can't say that the resultant burning of that haystack was incorporated in the original act, because that could have been prevented. So if something could have been prevented, then we don't say that everything occurred before, but rather it's occurring in real time. Therefore, says the Avne Nezer, when the Goyim set fire to the Beis Hamikdash, well, you can't say it's considered to have already burnt out on the 9th, because we had the opportunity to extinguish it. But so why didn't we? Well, the Goyim didn't let us. So when they are not letting us, when they are not allowing us, then it's considered to have occurred at the moment that they're not letting us burn it down, extinguish it, and therefore it's considered to be happening in real time, because it's not the original setting of fire which caused the burning down of the Beis Hamikdash, but it's the fact that the Gentiles did not allow us to. Because if it could be retracted, then in Lamdus it's considered to be happening in real time. Adds the Avnei Nezer, furthermore, the pasuk says, Hashem Amar, Ani hitzati ish b'tzion. God made the fire in Tzion. God is the one, Shalach ish ba'atzmo yisai v'ayardena. God sent the fire. And if God shoots an arrow, certainly at every moment He could take it back. So when it comes to Ribbon Shalom, since Ribbon Shalom has the capacity to take back His act, so we don't say everything is considered to have happened through the original setting of the fire, but it's happening in real time, since at any moment the Rebbeinu Shalom could take it out, and therefore the Lamdus take it back, and therefore the Lamdus of the Nemukei Yosef does not apply, and therefore Rabbi Yochanan is correct in saying that if he would have been around, he would have established Tisha B'Av on the 10th, when the majority of the temple burnt down. And the Rabbanon hold Aschalta de Paranosa Adifa, which means that in terms of the tragedy was most tragic at the moment the temple was set aflame. And actually it's interesting to note, the Chassam Sofer explains, it's because since there's a principle, Bo Pritzim B'Chilaluha, that when the Goyim came in, they defiled the temple. The moment the Goyim set fire, it wasn't a temple anymore. The Kedusha left, and now it was a secular building burning down. It was no longer a holy building burning down. But this is the kasha, the Kotzker, according to the Nemukei Yosef. What is Pshat and Rabbi Yochanan, that he would have commemorated Tisha B'Av on the 10th? And we have the answer of the Kotzker, that this Lamdus only applies relative to the one who performed the act, not regarding the item that's burning. And the Avnei Nezer says this does not apply when it's able to be retracted. When it's able to be retracted, we look at it in real time. We should be zoicha, as we say in the Nachem, ki be'esh hitzata be'esh ata asad levnoisa. The Rebbeinu Shalom will be destined to rebuild the Beis Hamikdash. Be'esh, we should be zoicha to see the binyan Beis Hamikdash. Meher v'yameinu. Amen.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.